Okay.
Hello, everybody. I think we are live.
Let me check, Latara. Let me go into Women Helping Women and see if we're there.
Okay.
I see us. We're
Woo,
there.
exciting. All
So
right.
can I share this is the question. I want to share. We have one person. Oh, where's the link? Copy link. Okay. So why do I have two people have joined? Welcome. Let me put it
Ooh,
in.
people are joining already. Awesome.
Yeah.
Why
So I
don't you
guess we'll get
say
to it.
where you're from in the chat?
Yes, thank you for joining, ladies. We're talking about something very important. And Latara, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Yes, I'm excited too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I wanted to introduce everybody if you don't already know her because she's she's a pretty significant member of this group already, but if you don't know her, she is Shauna Smith. She is a branding, I would say, genius. She's a branding genius because when it comes to branding strategy, she's got uncanny wisdom.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do.
And yeah, and I'm really happy that you're here today because um, we are going to be talking about different ways that you can brand yourself and increase sales. And that's a huge thing in anybody's business. Different ways that you can. Oops.
Yes. I was just watching because we
Oh,
have
okay.
Glenda from Ontario.
Ooh, hello,
And
Glenda.
yeah, so she said she has to hop off shortly though. So she left
Oh
already.
no.
I
Okay,
saw
well,
that
thank
she
you for
left.
joining us.
I'm in the chat for you so that you can, because I know that you are,
All right. You know, I
yeah,
forgot to put standout member, so they might kick us off.
no, they probably will see. They'll probably
Okay.
see.
Can you drop the link in this chat here too in the Zoom? Because I'm not able to see that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I will try
All
to
right.
because it's on my phone. Okay, but let's get started.
Yeah. So tell everybody what your favorite or what your top tips would be for marketing strategies that are working right now, because I know that's an ever shifting situation.
Yes. Well, I think that Zoom and Zoom networking was big for the last 2 years. However, right now there's a hunger for people to be out and about, um, and a hunger for people to connect with new people in business. So the top two ways that actually top three ways that I'm seeing people like get sales calls or and meet new people, grow your network, collaborations is just getting back out there. So get back to your old network and start having coffee with those people, reunite and reignite their memory about how awesome you are, because I did that. And I was opening up an office downstairs in the middle of Atlanta. Why don't you come and do some events? She's willing to host it for you, right? For my birthday lunch. So because I went out and had time with her, that's kind of one of the things that was able to help me. The second thing is, in social media world, it's still relevant. Everybody's on social media because there's a huge amount of people who are still not leaving the house. There are people in other countries not leaving the house. So LinkedIn is what they say in the world. The kids will say it's popping. Okay. Because if you DM people on Facebook and Instagram, it doesn't resonate as well as LinkedIn. I get a lot of DMs all the time on LinkedIn about different services, and I literally look at it. And I look and see, is this something that I'm interested in? And because of that, oh, I forgot they wanted us to put the link in the chat in the group so that they can join us. Um, so that's one. And here's another one that I think I got a little stable. Latara, here's something I'm interested in doing because it's a lot of fun. You can get bigger deals, bigger networks, bigger relationships is conferences, because everybody's out and about again. So if you go to trade shows and conferences, the world is your oyster. Be ready, have your cards, physical, not digital, have both, because some people don't understand that whole scene. So those are my three things that I feel are really a good way to get business that is easy and comfortable, right? Old people, go see them, go have coffee. LinkedIn, start messaging people about what you have to offer, just doing Zooms. And three, go to trade shows locally in your area. Go to your you can look at which shows are coming to town. It could be a marketing show, Latara. Could be realtors coming together to try to just go get a ticket for $99 for the weekend, and you're just handing out cards like crazy.
Yes, I really love how I love how it's kind of like a hybrid world right now. I mean, there's some things that you're doing in person, there's networking events online, and for that matter, it is a really good idea to have physical business cards and digital business cards, or
yes,
some sort of online form of communication, for sure. So tell me more about the webinars strategy, because that's more of an online thing.
I think webinars are amazing. You and I both have done several different, all the pieces. And let me just say, webinars are amazing, but you definitely, if you're not a techie and you don't have patience, you definitely want to hire somebody to help you set up your webinar, because it can be quite challenging. Because you need, pieces to the puzzle so that you can collect information and deliver your webinar the right way. But webinars are effective for building your brand and also direct selling, right? You set up a webinar, you have a great title. I like doing webinars on LinkedIn. I find them to be highly effective. Because it's really about like sharing your knowledge, bringing panels together, doing interviews like this is basically almost like a webinar, right? And then you get to talk about your knowledge, so people get to, you don't have to sell your services as much, and you're not really selling yourself. You're just building credibility by information sharing, with other people, building that energy up of just being just a person who knows what they're talking about. By the end of the webinar, when you say, hey, would you like to learn more from me? You have a direct ask and a direct answer. So it's no longer waiting like how many times you're going to convert. Webinars are a one-time conversion. Now, granted, people can follow up later in emails, but it's really a sales meeting conversion platform that's like, boom, right there.
Wow, that's awesome. That really takes a lot of steps out of the equation.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is it's almost like, well, first of all, when you're doing the webinar, you're offering information, you're giving content, you're in contribution. And I think that helps develop a rapport with the audience. And that's I've actually took a survey inside of this group a couple of days ago, and storytelling and relationships were huge in people's responses. So I think that those are both key.
Yes.
When you're trying to sell. And we were just talking about this morning too, that it's all about the relationship.
The relationship is business is worth way more than Facebook ads, anything you would ever pay for. A relationship is something, it's so priceless, because one relationship can equal hundreds of sales. Mm-hmm. Not only that, it also equals support, because in business, we all know it's a roller coaster ride, and you definitely need support, and you need people around you to keep you boosted when you have your down days. We all have down days. Even the most successful people have a day that they feel like they failed, and then somebody needs to remind them, hey man, you're amazing. Don't forget that. And then you just kind of get who's trusted you for years, right? And then the other thing is, we make mistakes in business, right? Good relationships would be like, hey, let's look at how we can do better. I'm going to give you some feedback, instead of like, you're fired, you're done. Like, that's not a good relationship. And I can tell you, in 15 years, it's my relationships that's kept me going. Because there are times I've wanted to quit, like, this is for the birds. but my relationships keep me balanced.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that connection is really important to a lot of people right now too, because we've been stuck at home for so long that we just want to have that sense of community again.
Yeah, yeah, we do. I'm excited. Like I'm just busting at the seams to speak in public. To
Good.
and the weird part was I did my first like public speaking, and it was only like 6 people who weren't really focused. It was, and I craved for a lot of people to be there for their energy, their input, their laughter, their just to be together with them. And I was like, oh, I want to do this more. And I was telling a friend of mine, I'm going to just do more public speaking because I love it, energizes me. It doesn't take my energy down. It makes me actually happier. So that's another form of, getting sales and building your brand is go find places to speak. Go, network and communicate with people about speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Moment of truth. Which do you like better? Online networking or in-person networking?
Oh, definitely in person. I love Zoom because I'm able to be around the world from my living room, but there's nothing like getting dressed, wearing a fabulous outfit, a nice pair of shoes, putting on perfume, feeling so good about yourself, and exchange that face-to-face energy and just connect, right? Like there's only so much connection you can do via digital, but there's a different type of human connection that happens in person that I mean, that's me because maybe I'm an extrovert. I like it. Maybe introverts are like, no, I want to stay in the house. But for me, love it. Love, can't wait to actually today I was like, I'm gonna go look for a networking event to go to tonight.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. And I think you hit the nail on the head because um I would consider myself an introvert and I like the Zooms better because it doesn't feel like it feels like less of a risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you go in person and something happens, you're just like, oh my gosh. But here on Zoom, you're kind of like safe at
Yeah, you're
home no matter what
protected.
happens, right? You're
Yeah,
protected.
you're protected. You're in your house. Like you got on your comfy sweater right now. Nobody is like, you don't have to walk around and figure out what you're going to say to people.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I get it. I have a ton of introvert friends and people I know in business, and they love Zoom. And I love
Mm,
Zoom too, but it's
wow.
just like, I just, it doesn't give me the same results
Mhm.
as person to person, honestly.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a give and take because you get those more personal connections when you're in an in-person event, but online, you can kind of reach out to a much broader audience than you could um, with a live event. So
Yeah,
it's got its advantages and disadvantages. So are
absolutely.
there any other
Absolutely.
tips that you would like to share?
Well, my 3 points on how to get more sales and brand yourself, these two together. Well, one, we talked about networking in person. I think that's going to take it further. That's one. And just, if you know you really need sales and you really need to like boost yourself as well, just find 3 networking events today that you can go to in your neighborhood, right? Like just do it because things will happen because of it. Or if you're not open to going in person, go on now online. You can definitely find a networking event every day. Just do one networking event a day. That's probably going to be about 90 minutes a day, building your network. But here's the other part of that. There's 2 parts. So there's one thing to get the lead, and then the second part is how do you sell the lead, or even how do you get them to the point where you get them to take action with you. So you need some type of system to follow up, because I talk to a lot of people, and if I don't put them in a follow-up system, like I need to know exactly who I talked to this week, because there's several people I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that person. Like just now, one person I forgot to put in my follow-up system was a proposal for a speaking engagement for next year for a company to do their training on business communication. It just was a referral. and the company is going to hire me to speak to the half a day to an employee, but I have to follow up with the proposal so I can get it accepted. Right now, what if I forget that?
Yeah.
Right, because you forget do all those things, so you got to put it in the CRM, some type of system that will remind you. You don't have to be you don't depend on this, because we got a million things we do every day and we totally forget. So having a CRM system is like air if you're serious about growing your business and serious about selling. And the other thing is, once you sell to somebody one time, sometimes you got to follow up 3 or 4 times in order to get the deal to close, because they're still thinking about it, or maybe they were ready to work with you, but then their kid got sick, or maybe they hurt themselves, or their mom needed something and they're like, oh my God, what was I supposed to be buying? So you have to follow up to remind them. They're like, oh my God, that's right, I did want to buy that from you. So following up is a big part of sales. And believe it or not, I used to think that following up was like bugging people. Did you ever feel that way, Latara? Like when you
Oh my
follow up?
gosh. Yes, I think that's probably on the mind of many people is, oh, I'm being a pest, aren't I?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so it's not that way actually. It's really hold on, I was just making sure I'm checking the are you able to see the live in the group?
Yeah, I found it. Yes, thank you.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay. So uh it's not that way. And I have a event coming up soon that talks about how to follow up, and that why certain people need so many follow-ups. Some people literally need more than 10 follow-ups. It's part of who they are. And meanwhile, we're sitting here thinking we're bugging them, and it's actually something that they need. So follow-up is everything, and having a CRM system and training yourself to use it, which I'm in the process of. I do it sporadically, but now I'm more serious about that because of going out and doing a lot of different things. So that's one. And then the last one is get on social media and do one really, really well. Don't try to get on all of them unless you have some help, and unless you're really good, like unless you plan a 2-hour window every day to do social media, because social media consists of a few things. Creating amazing content, but before you even post your content, you got to be engaging 10 to 15 minutes before you post, because the algorithms are all looking for people who are great members of the community. And a great member is a person who gives and takes, not just post and wants everybody to follow them. You have to comment, post, follow, share, but then post your comment. And then when people post, say something, or at least acknowledge each comment with the emoji or a like or a love or something.
Yeah.
But that definitely moves the needle, especially if you're going to do video. Video on social media is the perfect equation.
Oh
And
my
you don't
gosh. Yeah.
have to go live. You can just record the video and post it. If you do that on a daily basis, or at least 3 times in your sales and your brand, because people are actually getting to know you more every day they watch you. Maybe they watch you for a year, and after a year, they're like, I've been watching you for a year and I'm ready now to buy from you. You don't have to explain your background. You don't have to do anything because they've already seen you for a year. Now it's just a matter of, can they afford your product or service, and you move forward. But imagine that's a lot of people watching you over the time. And it does grow. Whenever I do videos, I usually get maybe after about a week of doing videos, I usually get a call from somebody saying, hey, I saw your videos, it touched me, I'd love to talk to you about doing something. Now they all aren't ready though, right? That's the thing. But having a response from doing videos on Facebook gives me joy because it helps somebody.
That's awesome. And that was a great tip, because some people are a little bit timid about going live. So it's good that they have that backup plan of just pre-recording, and you can even edit it if you wanted to, and then post it. But I know that a lot of social media platforms, Facebook in particular, is pushing live video like crazy. So that's really the place to be, because you can get like 10 times more engagement with a live than just with a regular post.
Absolutely.
And speaking of which, one of your lives that you just recently posted, you were talking about the difference between sales and marketing. Could you speak on that for a minute?
Yeah, so you watched the video.
Yes. Yes, it was great. It was great content. I was like, yes, this is perfect.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people think branding is going to generate leads. It can if it's done well, but you have to let that thing simmer. Like branding is about awareness of who somebody is. Marketing is the act of asking for something, right? So branding is imaging. Like I'm saying, like videos talking about like what you know and tips and things like that. It's not asking for anything at the end, and we all have to do some level of give. So by the time you ask for something, of course people want to do it. You don't have to ask and be in people's DMs and hey, join this and that without any, you haven't even put any work into the relationship, right? You just want somebody to buy from you. And we all know that's not how relationships work. But marketing is when you finally say, hey, join my group, buy my project, or buy my program, download my free book. That's marketing because that's an act. It's an act of something. You can measure marketing through money. Branding, you can't measure that in dollars. You measure that in like engagement, followers, like how many people are starting to follow you and actually interested in your information. Marketing, you can. So if the company hired you to do branding, you have to explain to them this is about awareness. This is not about money right now. But if you add marketing, which would be a webinar, right? A webinar is in the marketing category because we're going to ask at the end for you to buy something. So those are the differences. And if you're going to hire a brander, understand that's not somebody that's going to build your sales. That's somebody who's going to get your look together so that you look amazing and you look like $1 million because you're asking for $1 million. When you hire a marketing company or someone that do branding and marketing, you want to make sure you're clear on that so you know what to expect.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to, I love how you said marketing is like trackable. And with branding, it's hard to track the ROI, but it really is important. So it's kind of like it's a strange concept to get, and a lot of people are kind of like confused about it, but it's huge, and you know that it's working because the big companies out there are doing it all the time, like McDonald's, Coca-Cola. McDonald's is probably more well known than like the McDonald's arches are probably more well known around the world than the cross. I'm sorry to like go into religion, but like
it's true.
It's
like
that significant, and they still have commercials on TV. Why do they
they
keep
have social
advertising?
media, they have everything. And if you think about it, what brand really does, if it's done well and you invest a lot, is when people think about when they finally need that thing that you offer, you've done so much branding, you're imprinted now on their brain, right?
Yeah.
There are attorneys we see on TV, there are car places, when it's time for your car to break, you're like, oh, that commercial I've been seeing 100 times, like I'm going to call that person. So when it comes to branding and marketing, in some circles in Atlanta or online, people are like, oh, you need to call Shauna, right?
Yeah,
Because I've done a lot of give over the years, which I enjoy. I love educating people because it takes a lot of education before you even decide to brand. Like, am I even going to invest in that? Because what is that actually going to mean for the long haul? So,
yeah.
yeah, it's, and it takes a while. And I would suggest try not to flip flop in what you do. Because if you build a brand for a year and then you switch, which sometimes that happens, it has to happen. Maybe a business wasn't for you or whatever the case may be. But the longer you do something, the stronger your brand.
Definitely. Yeah. I love that you stay on top of mind with the people when they're in the middle of, oh yeah, I need that, which is awesome because most of the time, well, I wish I could remember the exact statistic. It was pretty low. It was like 15 or 20% of people that you're trying to market to are actually in the process of actively doing that thing that you're trying to get them to do. So
Yeah.
to catch them in that moment when they're like, oh yeah, I do need this. That's
Yeah.
why branding is important, because you're right. They'll remember you over all the other people out there doing the same thing.
Yep. That is true. And speaking of that, I am excited because one of the things that we'll be doing on actually tomorrow
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
is tomorrow from 4 to 7, which is something I've never done, a workshop this long. But, you know, me and the person I'm doing, which is Nancy Zare, who is a sales psychologist, we're going to be doing a 3-hour workshop that talks about setting up your brand and then how to sell it once you get the lead, because that's a whole ball of wax right there. Like, yes, I'm doing my marketing, I'm getting people in my group, I'm getting on sales calls, and I still am at zero.
Yeah.
And so that's because the knowledge base of how to sell and knowing your different types of people to sell to are crucial. And so tomorrow we're going to do a workshop on some super information on the different types of buyers, how to work with them, how to follow up with different personalities, how to set up how to read social media and know what type of person this is, so you know how to serve them. Like, it's going to be powerful. Like I said, a 3-hour, only thing I've done 3 hours is a CE class for realtors. So this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited to always learn from Nancy Zare, because her sales psychology is mind blowing, literally. And then of course, I'm going to talk about how to set up your brand, you know, how to do your social media, how to post, when to post, what to post, all that. And it's going to be 3 hours. It's tomorrow. We'll put a link in the comments, right, Latara? Will we do that?
Yes. I'll
For
put a
people
link
to
in
register?
the Yep.
Yep.
Definitely.
And it's going to be an intimate group. So we're not, you know, going to have thousands of people. It's intimate for you to ask questions. It's just going to be a game changer for some people. It's going to definitely be a game changer. So if you're interested, you could either get with Latara or, you know, private message me, but we'll also have the link in the chat for you to join.
Yeah. And just to share my insight into my experience with Nancy, is she is a whiz at being able to dissect somebody's social media profile and understand the psychology of how to sell to that particular person without even talking to them. Like, before you have your first conversation with them, you already know all this stuff about them. And it's just like, it's like you said, it's just mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. Like, what I really learned from her, which was a game changer for my whole outlook on follow-up, is I always thought I was bothering people. Just the simple shift of people need to be followed up because they need to be reminded, or they need to remember they need this. So you're not following up to sell them, you're following up to serve them, to give them something, you know, that can change their life or their business. And that's how you have to look at it. You have to look at it as like, hey, you have an amazing business. Let me help you get it to more people. Not that, would you buy my product, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product.
It's like, why should I?
that's not what we're talking about with follow-up. It's that's what I thought it sounded like for me. Literally, I thought that's what it sounded like, but now I know it's not. It's just bringing value to people's lives. And so I look forward to the follow-up. And you know, I just had my third video with a group that wants to do a branding, and they're like, can we just meet again? They need to feel comfortable, right? They're not sure where they're entering. And so sometimes people just need to feel comfortable that they even deserve it, or they ready for it. So they need to talk to you again about the whole scenario. So yeah, I love it. Tomorrow's going to be great. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to learn and teach. So what better way to do a Wednesday afternoon? And hopefully you'll be there, Latara, because we love your presence. You're an amazing person to help people, you know, in business, and you're an amazing graphic artist. And, you know, your lead generation, man. I really think that should be your title, because you kill the game when it comes to lead generation, honestly.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I just dropped the link in the chat for anybody who's interested in that. It's going to be very intimate. Like Shauna said, you're going to get hands-on person to person. Like we will follow each step and answer your questions in real time. So I hope to see you there. And
See you
on that
guys.
note, as the clock strikes, I am out of here. Thank you so much, Shauna. Have a
Thank
great day,
you.
everybody.
You too.
Thanks for
Bye bye.
watching.